Just trying to tidy up the place. Go back to sleep.
Hello everyone. Today I want to
You went to purgatory, my friend.
suggest and promote, I don't know how to phrase it. Basically, you know this Cosmogram I always rave about?
Then you add up all your venial sins and multiply
hold
that
up.
by 25.
I should have this prepared.
And that's your sentence. I figure I'm gonna have to do about 6,000 years before I get accepted.
Okay. This one here, I want to suggest an alteration to it.
And 6,000 years is nothing in eternity terms. I can do that
Which
standing on my
is
head. Like a couple of days here.
That,
Days here.
more of an aesthetic alteration, you know, than like a necessarily meaningful alteration. Although, you know, aesthetics are meaningful. Okay. Basically, the universe has been telling me to do this through a number of people who I've met with Leo Moon. I've met over the past year and a half. I've met 5 people with a moon in the first 10 degrees of Leo.
You went to purgatory, my friend.
And I've like had meaningful conversations with these people, like 5, and and I think there's something archetypal about this configuration, that it's like there's something correct about it. Also, if you have the moon in Pisces, you know, because you can see here the moon is in Pisces. However, there is a lovely correspondence between Yesod here and the moon. And as you can see, you know, how clearly there is a connection here between Lucifer and Yesod, you know, via the white paisley. You know, like obviously the white paisley here corresponds with Lucifer. And there's a lovely thing here where the moon reflects the light of the sun, and that Lucifer is like the ego, kind of. It's like, it's more individualistic, you know, like it has to do with our mind and like our thinking and like our kind of, you know, our perceptions and our desires and our kind of like, there's a correspondence with the astral body, such that to tame the astral body, which is kind of what distinguishes us from animals, is to like be like the moon. You know, it's like the ego is like the moon, reflecting the light of the higher self, the sun. Praise be to God, the sun. So I think there should be some sort of indication of the moon right here. I think you get the idea. You know, it's like, I think it would make more sense to have a black dot here, indicating like that at the end of egoism or individualism or the Enlightenment or whatever, what comes after that is this enantiodromia, the shift into the opposites, where Lucifer becomes, it's not my will be done, but thy will be done. It's like kind of opening yourself to the divine masculine in this kind of dark, feminine, receptive way. So like it becomes, it's like just like they say the yin becomes the yang and the yang becomes the yin or whatever. Or that like at the when you go through yin, you come to yang, and when you go through yang, you find yin. And interestingly, if you make a star, let me do that real quick. Star to make it white, no, to make it gray. There's like a thing here where there is this connection through the pentagram with Lucifer and the Marian moon here. There's something about like how Eve was tempted by the snake. Maybe it's that the snake has to be tempted by Eve, or like something like that, or like that's what happens when you're going up instead of going down. And so there is this connection with like, I don't know if you're following, but hopefully so. Yeah, Steiner said that this is what the Buddha taught, which is that to attain, like really at the end of the enlightenment path, like Lucifer, Lightbringer, and like escapism, also it's like the religion of kind of self-seeking and like pleasure, and it's like also the Whore of Babylon. That eventually the darkness, I mean, there's the pattern where the beast kills the whore, but I don't think it necessarily has to go like that for the whore. I think that you can transform, like what happens at the end of kind of egoism is that one becomes one estranges themselves from others and becomes so isolated and lonely that they have to realize that it's not just them, kind of like in this solipsistic world, and like that they are really participating in a higher order of being, if that makes sense, and that like they are not the seat of their own, that there are forces, like they're not the master of their own house in a way, and that like like the self, the true self, is kind of beyond your ego or your kind of like conscious mind, or like your, does that make sense? And so you're participating, and what is that? It's that like my higher self actually is more so kind of outside me, or like deep in my heart, and that like my mind has to, and like my astral body, my like psychological drives and dispositions, and my kind of like and it's interesting that the astral body, that would fit insofar as this here this is where the astral body is, or where the astral is depicted, like the astrological stuff here, according to this overlay. And it's basically about having those be organized by, I guess you could say, that there just has to be a proper balance, Like it's that when heaven, or like when, yeah, if that makes, heaven is in a sense this whole right side, but it's also a sense in which it's here. And when heaven and earth are like God the Father and his creation in a way, are proper, it's that the moon is reflecting the light of the sun, or sometimes eclipsing it, and this is where it gets very interesting, But yeah, so it's that my ego is supposed to kind of actually be feminine in a way in relation to my higher self, and that these various aspects of my astral body should be organized by, and this is kind of like the I am here. You got I am there, and so this overlay, I think, makes sense. And also you can see Mercury here. There's something going on here. I don't know what it is. And I think this is supported by, this particular overlay, I don't know exactly if it's like complete in terms of if the colors are perfect, or if if this is how it would look if we were to add it. I think maybe it could be stylized aesthetically differently, but something about this configuration seems right insofar as this line here goes through the eyes, and that is like an ancient, I don't think the guy who this was produced through Galahad, I don't think he did this on purpose. I don't think he did it on purpose, and this is an ancient motif where in Egyptian art and stuff they would do this, where they would indicate important connections through lines in the eyes and stuff, and also the hands. Yeah, and you can see that this one here goes perfectly around this, and then on the edges of these. This is pretty wild here. So, and then there's the whole, my suggestion that perhaps there would be a 3D version of this. Also, I think the chakragram from Shared Story fits in there. Here it is. This. But it's a bit more, there's a bit more going on here. And then, this is also like kind of an analogous arrangement. Right now I see myself. Myself is reflected back at me like a mirror, like the moon reflecting the light of the sun. But this is my astral body, which I'm seeing here, perhaps. And the screens should go here, but I don't know, something like that. Also, there is a eclipse coming up in Leo, and it's got this fancy pentagram thing going on, so this is a well-timed video, I suppose. Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. Much love to you.